Everyone loves a good expose. Insert YouTuber here exposed for stealing millions of dollars in a pump and dump scam. But what happens next? Do they ever face repercussions, consequences, or does it really make no difference in the end? Today, we're gonna look back at some of the internet's most infamous YouTuber scam controversies, check in on the aftermath, and quickly find out why CoffeeZilla believes that crime might be legal. Starting with one of the first high-profile YouTuber pump and dump scams involving Fraser K, then known as FaZe K, and Save the Kids token. For the Save the Kids scam token, we have to go back 5 years to 2021. Save the Kids token was big, and it had quite a few names attached to it, which at the time were some of the largest creators on the platform, at least 4 associated members of FaZe, as well as model Summer Rae and RiceGum. The token was meant to save the kids by donating part of its collected transaction fees directly to charity. This was eventually proven to not even be possible. Regardless, on June 5th, 2021, Save the Kids launched, and just as it launched and started to blossom, it crashed as insiders performed what was known as a rug pull. In a rug pull, or pump and dump scheme, insiders buy up or receive for free large amounts of the token before it is publicly available, then sell all of it as quickly as possible upon the public release of the coin. This allows them to cash out from thousands up to millions of dollars, flooding the market with coins, destroying the project, and making the coin worthless, and effectively wiping out anybody who invested money and has not already sold. FaZe K participated in this scam, and although he was not the only one to sell his tokens upon launch, there's a few reasons he's the focus of CoffeeZilla's investigation and took the brunt of the controversy. First, evidence points to K being one of the people who started the coin.
Everything does seem to point at K starting this coin. We know that he's the one who brought on Lucas the developer. We know he used Manny's connections. We also know he brought on Sam Pepper
And brought on other influencers through his own name recognition.
and then sent him a screenshot showing him trying to onboard a popular YouTuber. Quote, "Hey, great to be connected. One of the talents I represent, FaZe K, is one of the lead ambassadors for a new crypto token launch, Save the Kids." Now, when I showed him this, Jordan backpedaled. He said, "If I tried to have anyone be part of the project, it would be because either Sam or Fraser requested I reach out to a talent to see if they were interested."
Second, he was literally the first person to dump his Save the Kids token and sold all of it immediately upon launch.
Here's a little spreadsheet I made with their main wallets along with their first sell of Save the Kids. And if you take a look at this, and I put their fastest sell in bold, you'll notice that it was not Sam Pepper who sold first. It was actually Fraser K.
Third, instead of just staying silent or taking accountability, he continuously attempts to act innocent.
Please do not believe what you're hearing online. All of these people making videos think that they know the truth and that they know who's responsible when they just don't.
Repeatedly saying that he was misled by malicious actors and he didn't know what he was doing.
So we've uncovered significant evidence which confirms that a dishonest person abused his trust with me to scam everybody.
Despite allegedly rugging every single project he's ever been a part of, his innocence is essentially verifiably false. And he goes as far as to send CoffeeZilla, who is an incredibly well-regarded and thorough YouTube journalist, a cease and desist just for investigating him, threatening him with litigation for defamation. The most insane part is that he does all of this, putting his reputation and his name at stake to make only what is estimated to be $80,000 at a point when he is already well and truly a millionaire. Now, K did initially suffer the consequences. He was removed from FaZe Clan, his name was besmirched, everywhere he went he was called untrustworthy and a scammer, and his popularity slowed down. Except the very last part is a massive lie. In typical internet fashion, he suffered literally no consequences on his growth. Before and after the controversy, he continued to amass millions of views because just like a lot of the other YouTubers we will cover, his audience is largely children. Children who don't care what Fraser is doing in the crypto world. But you would expect something so life-changing, so emotionally difficult for him to genuinely affect him. Maybe spark growth inside him. Maybe he becomes a better person. Yet, even 5 years later, he would rather blame Sam Pepper for the entirety of the scam while downplaying his own role.
But when it was going to, I remember him telling me, "Yo, Fraser, like, try get some money back, like, try sell some." And like, I mean, the money I got back, even if I had only lost the amount I invested into the project initially, I would have got like nothing back. So obviously ended up losing way more than that down the line. But that was why. because I was scared to have lost how much I paid.
See, for what it's worth, he claims to have paid back at least $500,000 that investors lost during the scam, but it seems in my opinion to be more like a PR move than anything else, considering he learned nothing from it. Catching up to him in the present, he's moved on to more ethical pursuits, such as making content, relentlessly promoting and glorifying gambling, a horrifyingly dangerous addiction that affects 10% or more Americans, a number that only continues to rise as shady influencers and soulless companies continue to normalize and promote it. Frazier has an entire YouTube channel dedicated to him and his brother Jarvis promoting gambling content, and both of them do it daily on stream. This shows us that when it's all said and done, at the end of the day, all that matters is still just money. His punishment for being involved in such an egregious scam? Well, it's being rewarded with wealth as he relaxes in a multi-million-dollar mansion. Shifting gears, let's move on to someone plagued not by their brilliant criminal mastermind, but by their ignorance. It was just over a year ago now that the multi-million-dollar Hawk Tuah scam hit the internet, destroying Haley Welch's career and credibility overnight. Haley Welch became popular for her infamous street interview, and she quickly was able to make this into an actual influencer career. She was picked up by Jake Paul's talent management company, and her most successful endeavor is probably the Talk Tuah podcast, filled with high-profile guests. But it all went away when the Hawk Tuah coin collapsed. Hawk Tuah coin was a meme coin, and just like other meme coins, they're effectively worthless. They're modeled after Dogecoin, a coin that was made in jest but somehow managed to become inexplicably valuable. And this is the hook. Speculative investors are meant to think, well, if it happened to Doge, it can happen again. But in reality, meme coins are probably most well known for being scams, which is why upon announcement, most people were already looking at it with suspicion. Now, Hawk doesn't end up being very different, but the coin is aggressively marketed like it will be. Why is Hawk special? It's a meaningful step in bridging mainstream audiences to the crypto world. With free token distributions, fans who are newcomers to crypto can experience the blockchain in a safe way. Hawk's focus on inclusivity leads the charge for transparent, community-driven meme coin projects. This is marketed as the coin for newbies, something safe, transparent, and gentle, something that will change the crypto world. A little grandiose, but it's fine, all as well as it can be, up until the day of the launch. The Hawk token, launched on December 4th, 2024, experienced a dramatic rise and fall within hours of its debut. Initially valued at $16.6 million during its pre-sale period, the Hawk token's market capitalization surged to $491 million shortly after launch. However, this meteoric rise was short-lived, as the Hawk token's value plummeted by over 90% within hours. This was another rug pull, but as we focus on Haley, we realize that she, as far as we were aware, didn't actually dump the coin herself. She was investigated thoroughly and exonerated by the FBI on charges of insider trading and wire fraud. They concluded, after a thorough search of her devices, that Haley was not one of the insiders who dumped coins within the first few hours and made millions of dollars. But that does not mean Haley did not make any money.
When this launched, they had 15% fees on trading. They said that this was to stop snipers. But basically what this means, and because the team now blames snipers for a lot of this rug pull, but what it means is they benefited the entire way. You can see in 24 hours, they made almost $2 million from this fee.
Although not illegal, it is morally reprehensible to net millions of dollars in fees on a product that was revealed to be a scam in the first few hours of its release. We have no way of knowing how much of this fee Haley actually received. What we do know, as per her entertainment lawyer, is that she received $125,000 as an upfront advance, with an additional $200,000 30 days after launch, and allegedly 50% of the net proceeds from the project. With fees generated in the millions of dollars, this could mean that she profited millions of dollars off of a crypto disaster, and that does not sound like a victim to me. But if you listen to her in interviews, it's always about her innocence, how others misled her, how she trusted the wrong people.
I was very hard to persuade at first because I've never heard anything good about the space, like Bitcoin, crypto. I've never heard anything good about it. And I didn't know enough to really get into it, I don't think, but I finally gave in. It's a smack in the face. Like, I don't know, the guy that ran it, I trusted him a lot.
In my perspective, I'd say that I got talked into doing something that I didn't know anything about, really. I don't think it was necessarily all his fault, but I'm still gonna be like, yep, it was your fault. But he ended up hiring somebody else to help him out because I think he bit off more than he can chew, if that makes sense. So he hired somebody to help him that he knew of and just didn't know a whole lot about, and then he screwed us, like really bad.
There would be no Hawk to a coin without Haley Welch. She's the entirety of the brand recognition. It's her fans that got rugged. The scam could not happen without her name being attached. And that's why it was her and her team's responsibility to vet the things she is signing her name to. She allowed this to happen. She is not a victim, yet she presents herself as such. As a final note on Haley's story, on the way out, she seemingly sold off her X account, which speaks loudly because despite the tears, how much regret can one truly have when they even use their defunct X account as another way to get some cash? Ultimately, she did pay with her career and relevance. Every time she tries to post, everyone just stops by to call her a scammer. But how long would it have really lasted anyways? And how bad can it be, leaving the internet and your Hawk to a legacy behind in exchange for hundreds of thousands of dollars? Furthermore, it might not be over for Haley. As she appears on interviews like the one on Channel 5, it's clear she's still trying to rehabilitate her image. And you never truly know with influencers, because just when you think they've become irrelevant, they somehow manage to pop back up. Next, we have Mr. Beast, the largest YouTuber on the planet. Mr. Beast, real name Jimmy Donaldson, has been involved in many controversies, some substantiated and some a little overblown and dramatic. But what happened in late 2024 was definitely credible. To sum it up, back then Mr. Beast seemed to be making moves in crypto that were the complete opposite of what he and his brands were presenting on social media. Here, he's promoting Super as a hidden gem on the market, while his crypto wallets are selling their Super token.
In the 72 hours after the May 12th tweet, Mr. Beast sold about $200,000 worth of these tokens.
Here, his charity, Team C's, is doing an NFT auction to raise money for charity while he's selling the coin backing it.
Now, the charity drop specifically did happen in association with one of Mr. Beast's projects, Team C's. Now, the reason I'm sharing all of this is because 1 month into this 2-month charity auction on November 30th, 2021, the Rocket Fund or Beast Fund or whatever you want to call it starts selling huge amounts of this earn token. Allegedly, they sold over $2 million, while the charity itself was still going on.
Now, Mr. Beast did respond, and he had two main defenses for this. The first being that he did not actually control any of these financial moves. It was a fund called the Rocket Fund, led by someone else, and entrusted with managing his crypto wealth. His next defense was that the coins the fund were selling were so large, his tweets and financial activity would not have significantly impacted the value of them at all. Starting at his first defense, there's a massive issue here. Mr. Beast was clearly acting as if he was directly controlling some of the decisions of the fund.
So me and Logan both bought punks. You guys will probably see on his Twitter that he bought a bunch of crypto punks at the same time, right?
Yep.
Gary pulled us in that call.
Yep.
So Gary V, it's like 11 p.m. just out of nowhere, just calls me and he's like, yo, I got like 30 people to call, hop in. I'm like, I don't care. He's like, it'll be the best decision of your life. Just get in. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And so I just joined the call. And I just see like Logan and I don't even know these other people. I don't want to put them on blast.
Every heavy hitter you can imagine who's worth $1 billion was on this one call, and Gary V is in the little corner, the little square. He's going, CryptoPunks. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be the next Facebook. All of us were like, okay,
Everyone's
Gary.
I bought a bunch.
Wait.
Yeah, I bought quite a few.
How many?
I don't want to say, but
You have to say,
please.
bro, you have to.
I bought multiple ones.
This clip is very interesting because Jimmy said he made the decision to get CryptoPunks based on a call with Gary V. But those punks are owned by the wallet we just said was controlled by Jason. So it appears sometimes Mr. Beast is telling Jason what to buy for this fund.
So now we are stuck between either believing he was entirely lying before or entirely lying in this situation. Even if we do believe him, it's still his name and reputation on the line, and he alone holds the duty to ensure that those who represent him act ethically and in alignment with his own wishes. He's right. His actual tweets and sales likely did not actually impact the market in a relevant way, but that's not the argument here. It just looks bad for a man whose brand is positioned to be philanthropic. It's optically bad. Ultimately, Mr. Beast is not a scammer. He's not performing a pump and dump and running away with millions. All that's requested of him here is to act a little more carefully and make the proper disclosures. Super goofy emoji. I have a financial interest in this coin, and this is not financial advice. I don't understand why it's so hard for millionaire influencers just to play it safe or act a little ethical. If it's so hard for you to do so, just don't tweet about crypto. It's not a necessity. Overall though, Mr. Beast is small fry. He addressed the controversy, and although he was defensive, he was somewhat apologetic. The same can't be said for his business partner. Logan Paul is the final boss of influencer scams. Not because he made the most money, not because he was the most malicious, but because of how he has operated to actively silence and inconvenience those who seek to hold him accountable for his failings, taking advantage of his vast resources and wealth. But we can't start there. We have to start at CryptoZoo.
For the last 6 months, I've been working on my own NFT project that I believe is going to change the game. September 1st, CryptoZoo.co. We have a massive team behind it and are probably out of pocket like $1 million just because we believe it's going to work. We handmade art for the past 6 months, bro. Approval, very specific notes, 10 different artists making art for our project. A development team that has to be wizards because you're dealing with blockchain, people's money, transactions. You know, I'm excited to launch my game.
You keep using and you just did it again. You keep using a word there, game. You're not using like a project. It's a game.
It's a game. It's a really fun game that makes you money.
CryptoZoo was not a game that earned you money. In fact, it never worked, and instead of earning money,
lost around $50,000 in CryptoZoo.
I lost $40,000.
I lost around $15,000 US.
I lost $25,000.
$120,000. $500,000 Australian, which is $500,000 in crypto.
The project was plagued with a litany of malicious actors, including a fake orphan with a fake Super Bowl ring. Logan didn't actually rug pull his project. To be fair to him, he never actually sold any of his Zoo token, but Logan did relentlessly promote it, talk about how much money he put into it and how great it would be, only for nothing to actually work on the day it was supposed to launch.
This is how it was supposed to work. You started by buying this crypto token called Zoo, which is their in-game currency, and you use Zoo coins to then buy egg NFTs, which you can then hatch to become animals. You then can breed those two animals to become hybrid animals, and the more rare the NFT, the higher the daily yield of Zoo tokens that animal earns you every day. Even their community manager, Ben Roth, promised people, after hatch day, things will take a turn for the 180. Let's meet one of the victims, Helicopter Bob, to explain more.
My name is Rob. Helicopter Bob lost just under $7,000 with CryptoZoo.
And the first thing I asked Bob was about his animals, if he was making money with CryptoZoo, how much he made, and if the passive yield worked.
Oh, it never did from the beginning. There's no way to claim your yield. There never was.
It turns out the developer never got paid, and no one on the team really ever cared about delivering the final project. They were all too focused on the insane amount of money they could potentially make.
We created $40 million out of thin air. This is a success. Logan replies, this nonchalance worries me. F 40 million, it was at 120 million, which again, it's all about the money with these guys.
Logan, despite being the face of this project, took a hands-off approach and trusted others a bit too much, putting them in the right position to take advantage of his fans. Following hatch day, and everyone realizing CryptoZoo didn't actually work, the price began to crash, and in reaction, Logan basically abandoned the project. He, for a substantial period of time before CoffeeZilla's investigation, refused to talk about CryptoZoo, refused to promote it, and unceremoniously relegated it to the utility closet next to Dink Doink. But as CoffeeZilla's investigation was released and it garnered millions of views, Logan was forced to respond. Initially, he was combative and attacked CoffeeZilla.
Coffee, you took a shot at my reputation. So in this video today, I'm going to be defending myself with facts, something that you have gotten in the habit of twisting as you continue to morph from an investigator to a gossip channel. And you still published a defamatory hit piece fully knowing I was innocent just so you could enrich yourself in your $10 million studio. Sharp, but deeply unethical, dangerously misleading, and illegal. I suggest you use the money you got from pumping your Patreon to hire a good lawyer. You're gonna need it.
But then he understood and commended him and even offered refunds to those who lost money while vowing to finish the game.
CoffeeZilla is not a criminal. I called him, I apologized. The fact is, the suing CoffeeZilla is not going to help CryptoZoo holders, so I do need to focus my attention where it should be, which is on fans and supporters of me. I know this video is long overdue. Here it is. I'm sorry, guys.
And I wish I could stop there. The refunds come with a stipulation. You can't sue Logan.
These are the estimated damages in CryptoZoo. $18.5 million, which comes from a combination of ZooCoin and NFT sales. And then this, much smaller percentage of that pie, is what Logan is actually offering to refund. On the condition, though, that all of the people who spent the last year suing him for the larger damages dropped their case.
And then he took the game out back, confirming that it would simply never be released. CoffeeZilla, of course, continued to cover this, and a reward for his diligent and altruistic efforts, Logan Paul slapped them with a lawsuit, specifically filed federally to avoid dismissal, just to shut Coffee up and financially pressure him.
Logan Paul is suing me for CryptoZoo, only a year after he thanked me for it. Rather than pay back his victims fully, Logan would rather publicly humiliate himself in court by accusing me of defaming him.
That's right. Rather than truly take accountability, make things right, or even just silently try and move on, he wants to actively shut up those out there who are doing the right thing. To this day, he continues to fight both CoffeeZilla and the victims of CryptoZoo in court with no repercussions till date and no remorse. At the end of the day, the problem is that there really are no consequences for any of these people, and they're extremely cognizant of it. It's no shock that their shadiest actions are taken in the crypto world, a place that was for the longest time just entirely unregulated. Even now, the vast majority of people simply just get away with it. Even when influencers have amassed millions upon millions of dollars, they will still gladly do whatever they can do to get more, even when it may not be as well planned, careful, or ethical as it should be. And I ask, what is the incentive to care? In the best case, they make millions upon millions of dollars, and in the worst case, they'll just sweep it under the rug and move on. Ultimately, it's up to the lawmakers and regulators to stop this, but when they are themselves so intertwined in it and are presented with glaring financial incentives to not regulate it, well, this is what happens.